Hello everyone, my name is Zenitsu and I'm back with another DigiTopics episode. So today I'm going to be talking about color identity. So currently in Digimon there are 6 different colors in the game. We have red, blue, green, yellow, black, and purple. And each one of the colors are trying to do their own unique thing and figure out a way that they want to really play the game. And then each of the colors also has a different form of interacting with the opponent's Digimon, so that way they all have some sort of parity with each other. So starting with red, red likes to interact with the opponent's Digimon by straight up destroying them. And destruction is usually a really powerful form of removal because it just immediately will send the Digimon to the trash without them really being able to do anything about it. But red also is focused on attacking the opponent's security and obviously being a more aggressive color by doing so. So it will have a lot of stat boosting effects, on top of which it will have a lot of interacting with trying to attack the opponent's security, and it has security attack +1 as a more normalized keyword, so security attack 1 will add an additional attack to the opponent's security. So this all just heavily incentivizes and reinforces the fact that red is a very aggressive color that likes to boost its Digimon to make it very hard for the opponent to block, on top of which, if it needs to straight up remove the opponent's Digimon, it has that option also. And next, we have blue. So blue is definitely an interesting color where it likes to try to attack the opponent's Digivolution sources, which attacking the Digivolution sources can take away some key or important abilities on the opponent's Digimon that they were stacking or building into. On top of which, a lot of their cards tend to like to interact with the fact that they don't want the opponent to have cards with any Digivolution sources. Trying to maintain the state of your opponent's Digimon is definitely a very interesting thing. And blue's form of aggression is in the form of making its Digimon active, and that has a whole bunch of different applications, because just making your Digimon active can lead to a whole bunch of different play lines. So, as an example, you could attack, then make it active, and then attack a Digimon. If it's rested, you could attack the security again, or if it has blocker, then you could leave it up to block. So it definitely has a lot of different applications to it. And then blue's form of removal is in the form of bouncing, and when you bounce something back to the hand in this game, you will also discard all of the opponent's Digivolution sources, which makes it a very powerful anti-tempo play, because not only now do they not have all of the Digivolution sources, they're going to have to try to figure out a way to replay that Digimon, and the stronger the Digimon is, the harder it is for them to replay it. Next, we have green, and green is definitely an interesting color because it tries to find alternate ways to play its Digimon. So it usually will try to cheat out or digivolve for less than the intended cost. On top of which, green also has a unique interaction with the opponent's Digimon in the form of resting them. So resting the opponent's Digimon means they are now vulnerable to be attacked into. So there's a lot of different cards that will interact with the fact that the opponent has a rested Digimon, and a lot of cards in green will also try to rest the opponent's Digimon down. So resting the opponent's Digimon down is not only important in case you want to attack into the opponent's Digimon, but it also can help take out some pesky blockers, because a blocker that is rested cannot block. Next, we have yellow. So yellow is definitely a more defensive color in the game, in which the big idea of yellow is to try to out-resource your opponent. So yellow will definitely have some healing in the form of the recovery mechanic. Yellow also has ways of buffing your security Digimon, so that way they trade more efficiently or better with the opponent's attacking Digimon when they are revealed. And yellow will have also a lot of additional card draw, which also just reinforces the fact that it wants to out-resource the opponent. And then yellow's big form of interacting with the opponent is in the form of a debuff. So usually yellow will minus the opponent's Digimon's DP, making them weaker than your DP, so that opens up a lot of playlines to yellow as well, where they can now trade into the opponent's Digimon now that it's weaker, or if their DP reaches 0 because of enough debuffs, then that Digimon is straight up destroyed. Next, we have black. So black is one of the new colors coming to set 2, so there's not necessarily a whole lot of identity to black yet, but as of right now, it looks like black is going to be another defensive color where they are focused a lot on trying to block and restand their Digimon to wall the opponent out of the game, because they will just try to also stat buff their Digimon so that way they are more powerful when they can block. They also have a sub-theme of the fact that they want to have the same name Digimon on the field for additional benefits. I don't know if this is straightly a Diaboromon gimmick or if this is going to be a normal mechanic in black, but it is definitely something interesting to note. And then black's big form of interacting with the opponent's Digimon or removal is in the form of de-digivolving. So you are attacking the Digimon's digivolution and essentially reverting it to a weaker state, so that way it is harder for them to get through your blockers. And then lastly, we have purple. So purple is another new color introduced in the second booster, and it doesn't necessarily have a super solid foundation yet either, but currently what it does have is a more grave or trash-based focused deck where it will try to set up the trash to play a whole bunch of different cards from the trash or have additional benefits for having a certain amount of cards in your trash. And a lot of self-sacrificing effects so that way the Digimon can be more incentivized to find its way in the trash. And then purple currently has the Vengeance keyword, where it is basically like Death Touch in the game, where if a Digimon were to battle a Digimon with Vengeance, then it is going to be destroyed at the end of battle, which all plays into purple's form of removal, which is destruction with limitations. So generally, they like to try to have different restrictions on how they're destroying the opponent's Digimon if they meet a particular requirement, which usually this will come at a lower cost, but because of that, it's going to generally be a little bit harder to play. So right now, those are the current color identities of all of the colors in the game, at least as far as what I can tell. I think these cores are going to stay relatively consistent throughout the game, and obviously there is a lot more depth to the colors than what I'm explaining, but I'm trying to identify what the core of each color is. So that's all I really have for this episode. As always, feel free to leave a comment down below about your thoughts, questions, or concerns. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and I will see you in the next video.